It has been a very long week.
Wow, this is garbage.
One of the many events this week was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the conclusion to this fantastic trilogy. The film is just amazing. At the time of this recording, I have seen it 3 times in theaters with a possible 4th on the way. I cannot describe how amazing this film is without spoilers, so I'll just jump right into it. Alright, so story. This film has a pretty basic story. Nothing too spectacular, but it's got enough meat on the bones to satisfy. Rocket's creator wants Rocket back so he can study his brain and apply it to his creations. So again, it's nothing breathtaking, but it serves the film well. The real meat in this film comes from the characters, because holy shit is this the best most of these characters have been in a long time. There are some maybe minor missed opportunities with them, like expanding on Peter's new drinking issues, but that is so minor and his character is so well written you can't even get mad about it. Peter's story makes perfect sense and further shows why Gunn is the only person I trust with these characters. Peter is dealing with his guilt of losing almost everyone he loves, this film particular focusing on Gamora. Seeing this character struggle facing the new Gamora is heartbreaking and makes him finally letting go and deciding to try and better himself at the end such a satisfying conclusion. Mantis has a similar arc as well where she decides to try and find out who she is, as she's never had control of that. Drax's conclusion is perfect as well. This applies for many of these characters, but especially Drax. Death seemed like the only option for this character. But Gunn somehow delivered an equally heartbreaking yet satisfying conclusion while keeping the entire team alive. Gamora is a character I was really cautious about entering this film, but Gunn was able to deal with this loose plot thread thrown his way perfectly, making you feel for and understand this Gamora, while making her a vastly different person to the original. She's just a really fun addition, and her becoming less of a dick to the whole team over time, and understanding what they have in each other is amazing for her. Nebula has grown to become one of my favorite characters in the Guardians. Her arc over these films has been so cohesive and well written. Her character is so blunt, yet shows so much emotion through all of it. There are scenes in this film with her that are heartbreaking, and after seeing this almost lifeless persona the last few movies, seeing her let herself be vulnerable is such a nice change. After all she's gone through, finally finding people who value her is such a satisfying conclusion for her character. And of course, Rocket. Everybody already loved this character. I especially loved him after Guardians 2, but this film just amplifies that even more. Everything involving Lila, Teefs, and Floor is heart-wrenching. I rarely cry in films, but the scene where Rocket dies and sees Lila in the afterlife, coupled with Peter's desperation to bring him back, it broke me. Every single time. It's so powerful and makes me remember how amazing this universe once was. High Evolutionary is everything Kang should have been. Not only does he not method act, he's actually threatening. It has been so long since there's been a villain so hateable yet so charming. The closest I could think of is Palpatine in the OG trilogy, but even then he doesn't have shit on this. There are countless video essays on this character, so it's been said hundreds of times, but he is easily top 3 MCU villains because holy shit did Gunn knock it out of the park with this character. Rounding out the characters is one of the few issues I have with this film, Adam Warlock. This character is actually pretty garbage. Sorry, not sorry. His introduction scene is actually really good. Great way to set the tone of the film, but not only is he absent from the rest of the film, he's pretty ass when he is present. 90% of the time, my issue with Gunn films is misplaced comedy, and this character is the embodiment of that. He is really funny, but it's always in the wrong scenes. Him being like a minor nuisance that keeps coming back got really old, really fast, and was really underwhelming. His motive also makes almost zero sense. He's doing shit because he needs to save his kind. Once his mom gets blown up, he has no reason to keep fighting for High Evolutionary. He has more of a reason to help the Guardians. He already has a bad experience with High Evolutionary, and it makes sense for him to team up with them and take down this threat to his people. But he just keeps blindly fighting for them for no reason. It makes no sense. So yeah, Warlock sucks, but every other outstanding character makes it a minor annoyance at most. Some other small issues: pacing, it's definitely choppy at times, especially in Act 1. Soundtrack is significantly weaker since they switched composers. There's a lot of in-universe details left out that Gunn confirmed on Twitter, like High Evolutionary surviving, which could easily be fixed without killing pacing by just having a shot of Drax carrying him or something. Maybe have Quill immediately lose his mask again for continuity reasons since Gunn didn't want to bring it back. Again, it's just minor shit. This is a really flawed film, but its positives outweigh it tenfold. For possibility of recency bias, I won't say it is the best, but this film is a contender for best MCU movie, and it's definitely up there with best Marvel movie. It's not quite Logan or Spider-Verse level, but yeah, it is up there. It is to this generation what Return of the Jedi was to its. A heavily flawed, yet powerful conclusion to what is arguably the greatest comic book trilogy ever made. I don't want to hear anyone bitch about Gunn directing Superman anymore, because if his previous work wasn't proof enough that he is to be trusted, then this film solidifies it. The best MCU movie since Iron Man. Sorry, not sorry. If you want to hear my outdated thoughts on the MCU film preceding this one, my review on that is popping up in the card right now. I will see you there.
Let it out. Let it out.
Satisfying conclusion.